in this session now we are going towards the different type of the aspect, that is the offsite training and the team development. And in this case we will be discussing about, does your team need training, right? Offsite training, lecturing, audio visual techniques, simulations, case studies, role playing, business games, field trips is there, and the pros and cons of the offsite training. Offsite training and the team development, experiential team building games, and as usual the research paper, case studies and the book recommendations will be there, and then they will be given these references also. So, you can make the further references for your detailed understanding. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them, right. So, that is Aristotle, that is a learning by doing. So, this we have talked in the previous session also, always that is the we have to learn what we can do, right, and we learn by doing them. So, therefore, both things are very important are there, that is the unless and until we do not learn, we can do them, right, but how to learn? So, that is by doing only. Now, I will say that is whenever the team is formed, so we are matching the team's personality traits, the skills, different skills. So, that is the job knowledge skills, HR knowledge, right, then conceptual, analytical, nowadays analytical, and especially the designing. Now, whenever we are talking about the symptoms of the ineffective teams, right. So, this will be the technical, grievances or complaints, this will be the HR, evidence of hostility or conflicts among HR, confusion about the assignments and the relationship is there. So, it will be technical plus HR, decisions misunderstood or not enacted, right. So, therefore, conceptual, apathy and general lack of interest. So, therefore, HR, lack of initiative, innovation or effective problem solving, that is the analytical, and the designing skill is there. So, if you are not able to make the proper this analysis of your problem, then there will not be the problem solving will be not be possible. So, this analysis and the designing means what? Providing the solution to the problem. So, whenever you are giving the solution to the problem, then in that case you will be having the effective problem solving is there, right. So, we have seen by the different authors and different contents, ultimately it is a solution finder. So, are you here to create the problem or here to provide the solution? So, naturally we are here to provide the solution. So, we are here to provide the solution. So, but a solution to find out, it is not that easy, no. If it is that easy, then there is no problem, but the not getting the solution is a problem. So, if the problem has to be there, so solution is required. So, then in that case it is the creativity. So, therefore, for some people the big problems are no problems, for some people the small problem is a big problem. So, why it is so? It is because of their inefficiency to not to be having these designing skills, designing, right, and therefore, it is the creativity skills. Designing is not the cup of tea of everybody. So, this is therefore, in that case some people were able to find out the solutions. So, even in the toughest time, they will come out. A simple example, if an organization is not able to survive, what will be the solution? Either the close the organization, right. So, there will be many people who will say the close the organization, but some people will say the diversification of the business. But for the diversification of business, money is not there, that is why this organization is getting closed. Then how to manage the money? So, outsourcing is to be done, or creating the knowledge based organization, because you are not having the money and then you have to run the organization, right. How will you run? By your tacit knowledge, right, your explicit knowledge, your consultancy, right. So, then you will not having, are they outsource, right, and then somebody is having these the support, that is called the co-optation, collaboration with others or even competitors. In the economic recession in 2009, I have seen that is this co-optation, collaboration with the competitors, means the industries of the same nature, they are collaborating, right. So, therefore, in that case when we are talking about these idea with the Videocon, or when we are talking about this the orange with idea, and then the sharing the geographical locations are there where they are working together and sharing the resources. So, therefore, in that case that is a problem solving is there in the economic recession. So, many organizations they have the collaborated and they have the ideas that in this tough time how we can work together. So, that is called the co-optation is there, or the collaboration is there, right. So, here but what is the, what was that? That is the, they have come out with new ideas and they face the economic recession. So, therefore, in that case this is a solution is this. So, high dependency on the leader is this of the ineffective team is there. So, if the ineffective meetings are there, there is a lack of initiative, innovation or effective problem solving, then high dependency on the leader. Whatever you will say we will do, sir, whatever you will guide that will we follow, sir. No, you have to do your own in your own periphery. It is not that it is crossing the periphery and taking the position of a leader. There will be few like this I know that, but it is becoming the very important, that is a high dependency on the leader is not to be there. So, therefore, symptoms of the ineffective teams which we have talked about. So, it will be very important, that is the what is to be done, and one of the solution is this, that is about the training. Now, the offsite training or off the job training, off the job training methods are conducted in a separate environment. Now, like you are the studying this particular subject, I am sure that is the most of you must be the working executives or the professionals, right. Maybe the professional qualifications you want to get and you want to go into the profession naturally, and that is why you opted for this particular course, or my another course is that is a training of trainers is concerned, right. So, therefore, why? So, there is a offsite training, off the job training is there. So, therefore, you are having the already certain tasks to do, and therefore, in addition to that maybe the your education, maybe the your job, right. So, therefore, you want to go to get trained through these particular courses. So, like this is the off the job training is very important is there. And this, and actually this is a separate environment is there from your regular environment, you know. So, study material is usually supplied and the full concentration on learning rather than the performing is there. So, offsite training usually include more general skills and knowledge useful for work as well as the job specific training is there. So, whatever I am talking to you, I am not talking to you definitely the specific with your job, but in general. So, therefore, off the job training is in the classroom training is where they are talking about the in general training is there. So, if how it is done, lecturing, audio video techniques, role plays, field trips, case studies, business games and the simulation is there. Now, the lecturing is concerned like we are doing. So, trainer communicate with spoken words which they want to training to learn. It is primarily the one way communication of the learned capabilities from the trainer to audience is there. It is a verbal presentation for a large audience. So, therefore, you find by the one lecture there are the number of people those who are getting benefited they are much more. The lectures have to be motivating and creating interest among trainees. I am sure that is the by this studying this leadership and team effectiveness you must be find it interesting, and this lecturing method which might be helping you to your understanding and the purpose for which you are attending this particular course that has been served by. So, nowadays speakers also promote some way of the interaction by the audience, usually in form of question answers which are preferably assignments and all, right, taken at the end of the whole lecture, and then those who will be registered they will be giving the examination also. I hope most of you will be registering for this particular course for examination, and at the end of the different sections within the lectures are there. So, therefore, in that case this lecturing method, but you see every method is having its merits and demerits is there. So, it reinforces trainees credibility and authority. So, that is you learn from Professor Rangnekar and through NAPTEL course. So, that is creating the credibility is there. Information is concentrated and organized as desired. Sessions are designed as per the best possible way, efficient and simple. So, lots of material can be presented within the given time is there, can be personalized easily. So, therefore, there are different contexts are there where you can find out that what is useful for me, right. That way one way you can find out. One way communication with relatively less participation or the passive participation is there, right. So, naturally that is I am having the just addressing you through this video lectures is there. So, there will be the passive participation, right. The attention span of listener is normally 15 to 20 minutes, we have kept it to the 30 minutes. So, therefore, because we believe in you and we feel that is the you will be able to be listen me for half an hour continuously. However, you have that option in online, that is the after 15-20 minutes you can pause and then again you can join. Depends completely on trainers effectiveness and the information is there. A clear and rigorous verbal presentation requires a great deal of preparation and hence time consuming preparation is there. So, you will appreciate that is your all 60 sessions which have been prepared with the help of my research scholars and these different literature, secondary data, primary data with those references, right, that has been useful for you is there. Second is the audio visual techniques is there. So, overhead slides and video is there like online training, the lecturing is done through these particular videos is there. So, videos can be used for improving the communication skills and customer service skills, right, that you can use. Also listed how procedures can be followed and it is normally used along with the lectures, as I mentioned, that is it is a combination of lecture and the videos is there. So, to show the trainees real life experiences and the examples which we are giving and sharing with you with the help of this particular these case studies. So, therefore, they are the case studies are not the stories. Case studies are the real life experiences shared by somebody and published. So, therefore, in that case that is becoming the real life examples, that is how in a particular organization what is happened, how it is happened, right. So, therefore, in that case it is like here you see it is a AV room at IIT Roorkee has been shown, that is how it is there. However, the technique which we are using, right. So, therefore, you are comfortably online and then this tough time when this course is recorded. So, therefore, you can see where hopefully when you will watch this video there will be no tough time, third wave will be over and everything will be normal, but then it will be conveniently you can refer, right. So, but this is an example, that is the how these lectures and with the help of the videos lectures are used. But again no method is complete, it is having the merits and demerits. So, trainees can review, slow down, right. As I mentioned, if you hear me for continuously 30 minutes, so great of you, but if you cannot, so after 15 minutes you can review or slow down and speed as the lessons according to the expertise of the trainees, and times are available to you, because you may not have even the at a stretch that much time, but this will be available to you. It can be watched multiple times. So, in the first instance, if it is not that clear, you can repeat it, right, and then can understand what were the points, what are the points which you want to again go into the listening for the purpose of understanding. It gives exposure of the equipments. So, you are tech savvy, right, and your young generation is the definitely that is much more tech savvy than me. So, therefore, the problems and events that cannot be easily demonstrated, right, exposure of the equipment. So, there is equipment malfunctions, angry customers or the emergencies are there. So, therefore, in that case you can make the use of this particular audio video techniques are there. So, you can handle it later on, but too much content for trainee to learn I do not know. But I am sure that is this is not the too much content, but yes, if you will go through the different videos, then definitely it will be too much for you by the different speakers and resource persons. Important learning points of training can be confused by drama in the video, right. So, therefore, many times that might be the confusion, but yes, you have the opportunity to get clarified from us. Overuse of the humor or music is there. So, I do not know that is the I have used, but many times it is the means basically it is a sound or noise that, but thanks to the IIT Roorkee that I are having such a wonderful infrastructure arrangement. So, that there is no such this type of the music or any type of the problem is there. Nowadays very common is that is about the simulation is there, and in the simulations it is the aim to educate and now you see it is in the professional courses, this simulation has become very popular, because one is that is it is interactive. So, it is not that lecturing method, right. So, therefore, aim to educate and inform in an exciting and the memorable way, rather than the purely to entertain is there. It is used to teach the production and process skills as well as the management and interpersonal skill is there. So, therefore, in that case whenever you are having this type of the simulation, so you will be improving your efficiency by production and process skills, right. So, there but simultaneously with the technical skills and job skills, you will be also be able with the help of the simulation to develop the interpersonal skills is there. How that is it is having the group activity basically, right. So, you are having the teams, and in teams you are doing that simulations, right. So, on teamwork also there are the number of simulation games are there which you can use. Trainee can concentrate on learning without involving much risk is there, right, and interest and motivation are high as the job conditions are duplicated. This method of helpful in cases where on the job training might result in a serious injury and the destruction of the valuable equipment and material is there. So, like the aeronautical industry is one example has been given for the simulation, right, game. It is an expensive method, right, because the buying the simulation game is expensive. Need constant updating as new information about work environment is obtained. So, whatever the simulation game you were having in the past that you cannot use for the may not be useful for the your next task. The case studies involve the studying cases from all perspectives. So, I am thankful to my team, my PhD scholars, research scholars, those who have helped me, the Rahul, Mohit and Nilesh and further and the Anjali about the analyzing the various options available to the company for solving problems. So, they have given you these different case studies and we with our team we have decided about the relevant case studies with the relevant session and addresses issues and arriving at the most suitable answers. But again this method is also it promotes analytical thinking. It is acceptable to everyone as it deals with the detailed description of the real life situations are there. It encourages open mindedness. So, therefore, everybody can have the answer on his the own way. Own way means of his own knowledge background, academic background, social background, economic background, technological background especially. So, therefore, in that case the case study will be analyzed as per the individual's open mindedness. It may suppress the voice of average trainees, as only those having analytical and vocal skills will dominate the session. But suppose we have the discussion on the case study. So, naturally those in the classroom, normally what happens, that is those who are the good orator and good presenter. So, what they do, they dominate the whole class. Naturally they will be heard, right. So, those having analytical and vocal skills will dominate the sessions, and the preparation of the case involve expenditure and time, and the outcome is not quite certain is there, that is whether it is really useful or not. Role play is there. Trainees act out roles given to them in these all training techniques we have used in my that NPTEL lectures, TOT. I will advise you to please go through that the training of trainers course, that you will see that is how these techniques have been used. Cover topics like employee-employee relationships, hiring, firing, conducting and a post-appraisal interview is there. So, trainees participate in entire proceedings, and so their tech interests are involved. It develops skills in applying knowledge in areas of human relations. It brings about desired changes in behavior and attitudes as the trainees are there. And these are the demerits for the role playing, is because role playing is very, very interesting. So, there will be the case study, there will be the characters, and the characters will be to be played by the somebody. And then during my industrial training programs also I see, and in the MBA classroom also, education class, within the classroom also I find that is the real role playing is really motivative people, those who are participating in this type of activity. The trainees may deviate from the subject being discussed, this is a demerit, and start giving unrelated examples and explanations are there, because now he has to play the role. So, in that role playing he may be deviating, right. It will depend on that particular individual whether he is playing the role correctly or not. These are the business games to gather and analyze information to take decisions are there. So, business games are primarily used for the management skill development and stimulate the learning, because participants are actually involved, and because games mimic the competitive nature of business is there. So, the game helps a dealer to develop skills needed for the business success. Participant must work as a team, cohesive groups are developed, and the factual information cannot be taught through this particular training is there. Now, this is the field trip is there. Training in the field is journey by a group of people to a place away from their normal environment. Purpose is to provide real life situations, and the merits field trips provide the accurate information about objects, process and systems in the real settings. Enthusiasm for the field trips can be effectively transformed to effective learning. Field trips provide students opportunities to utilize all senses for learning is there. Demerits, time consuming, careful planning required, transportation can be a problem, it is risky for the management is there. So, therefore, this type of the in these professional courses, I have organized this type of the field visit trips during my leadership academic program for the MHRD that IIT Roorkee has organized. I as a co-PI took to the participants that to the Maruti plant, and luckily I myself hold the visit into the Korea after 4 months. In 2018 I visited Maruti, and 2019 I visited the Hyundai plant Korea. So, I could compare both the automobile industries in India and Korea, and through these field trips we learned so many things are there, and especially the role of the artificial intelligence in automobile industries, which I learned from there. Pros and cons of offsite training and team development. Help the team to improve perception, that trust, cooperation, communication, self-confidence and the team building is there. So, whenever we are having this type of these techniques, it is helping us, and the team that develops this type of training develops the team understanding. Then the cons are team members may revert to old behaviors over time. Now you learn these things, right, and you watch this video, and then but when you again go back to your workplace, and then there may not be the change in your behavior through this lecture. So, therefore, they may revert to old behavior, they do not make the changes learning from this particular this activity. So, team members come and go, thereby diluting the experience for their group. So, therefore, it is that is the who comes with you for field trip, then again somebody else comes. The team members are sometimes exposed to the harm or injury, that is also the possibility. That is when you are going for the off-job training, so then it will depend on that particular environment. Touch wood, I am doing this the offsite training myself and taking the other trainees also since 1986. So, 35 years, right. So, from 35 years touch wood till today, during my this offsite training, which a number of places continuously doing this thing, and the training and development, and no harm or injury is there. I took the MBA students also to the number of industries. So, that is a part of this. So, therefore, in that case nothing has happened, touch wood, but yes, that risk is there. So, whenever we are talking of the offsite training and the team development in experiential activities aimed at the building teamwork and the leadership skills, participants acquire leadership and teamwork skill by confronting physical challenges and exceeding their self-imposed the limitations. Emphasis is typically on building not only teamwork, but also self-confidence for leadership is there. Yes, I can, I may, I can. So, therefore, you can. Outdoor training enhances teamwork by helping participants examining the process of getting things done through the working with the people. Then the experiential team building games are there. So, there are multiple team building games which can offer various positive aspects for teams. Here are some examples of interesting team building games: two truth and a lie. So, encourage bonding and communication. Method: every team will write two truths and one lie. Share statements to other team will decide which is a lie statement, and learning of better communication among co-workers and know each other better is there. So, another team building game is the game of possibilities, encourage creative thinking and have fun, and a method, a time is given to each group, a item is given to each group, napkins for example. Each person in the group need to stand up and demonstrate the use of item creatively, right. So, therefore, it is a creative thinking is there. Better communication among co-workers, experience different ways to solve problems and the use resource effectively is there. Then the diversity tree is there. So, evaluate and respect diversity at workplace. On a flip chart, each team need to draw a tree with names and of the members. Every member need to write encouraging message on the tree, and the learning outcomes are instill mutual respect, recognition and positive thoughts among the team members is there, right. So, therefore, in that case here you will find that is this type of the feelings are expressed. Experiential, each one teach one, the purpose is to make team members understand talent and needs of others. Write name of the members with 3 headings: first impression, positive traits and suggestion for growth, and the paper are folded and mixed in a bowl, and in different rounds every member have to select a paper and write about others. And the learning outcomes, the activity helps the team members see themselves as others see them and reveals the perception gaps and areas of growth, because whenever you are having these first impression, positive traits and suggestion for growth, right. So, here you will find that is they will be getting each team member will be getting and reveal the perception gaps and the areas of growth. It also motivates the members also. Then the recall and share is there, share your thoughts, sharing of knowledge and working in a team usually played after training event. A team have 10 minutes to recall and list as many skills they experienced throughout the training. Team share their opinion and other team may challenge their opinion, and encourage teamwork and engagement. Instructor learn what was important to the group and the how much retained after the training is there, and therefore, this is about the different games and so many games you can refer and play at your workplace, right, and get yourself as a leader to coordinate these games or you can be also a part of these games and ask your superior to demonstrate on that, or the HR department to demonstrate on these particular aspects. The reactions to outdoor team building initiatives in the MBA education, right. So, therefore, in that cases to evaluate the effects of the teamwork attitudes, which look at the individual's expectations of and the prior experience with teams and team performance in an outdoor team building initiative with respect to team viability in the classroom is there. So, therefore, this team building in MBA education, that is becoming very important. Results indicate that teamwork attitudes collected before the outdoor challenge training are positively associated with team support, potency, intentions to remain in the team and the team survival. However, team performance in the initiative was not related to any of the team viability constructs is there. So, as usual, here will be also certain limitations, right, there will be these particular the concept which has been used here is there. And now this is about this case study. The training, the underrated checklist is there. I am sure that this will be also giving you the help and you will be able to answer the questions given at the end of this case study is how can HR leaders overcome resistance to training, right. So, many people they have this perception, that is that I do not need training, or the training is not perfect and training is not required. So, they are not ready to accept the training as such, because it is about the understanding of the every individual. So, how offsite training methods are better in organizations like the hospitals are concerned, and develop a checklist that would make a process more efficient or safe for your employer or college. What is the best way to train an employee to use your checklist? How would you evaluate your training is there, right. So, therefore, that checklist is there. As usual, finally we come to the book recommendation, right, and these are the team games for the trainers are there, and here this in this book you will find 100 proven interactive games, exercises and activities are given. Each game is self-contained, filled with the templates, answer sheets and clear explanations of the objectives and procedures for the experienced trainers and novices. And these games often the rough edges of trying to work together in unfamiliar ways create an atmosphere of the collegiality and form a bridge between training information and on the job application, create the effective teams with the team games for the trainers is there. So, like these other books also are there, and this book will also be helpful to you, I am sure. That is, so you can develop and conduct your own training program at your workplace and increase the team effectiveness, right. And these are the references for this particular chapter and session, and definitely these references will be useful for your further studies in the detailing is concerned. Thank you.